Dominik Johnson speaks about global opportunities within constant changes. Dominik.
Buongiorno everybody, but that's it for my Italian language. I am very thankful that you made it from your lunch into your coffee break. It's amazing because within the next 30-40 minutes I will try to give you an overview over the global opportunities and what we are doing in Russia and how much traffic you can drive to your website to get more customers or people who are interested in your service and your products. Giovanni, thank you very much that you introduced me. The global opportunities has constantly changing in our dynamic digital world. I am from Augsburg. I don't know if anybody knows this soccer club. This soccer club won after 2 years in Bundesliga, so something like the Premier League in Germany of soccer against this team. And the funny thing is that this team is only valuable $668 million. But if you take a look of 14 people or 20 people who work at WhatsApp, they were bought by Facebook for 14 billion euros. So this is amazing. So how can be WhatsApp so valuable and everybody knows or are fans or watching the soccer games of Bayern Munich? So this is something what people outside of the digital landscape do not understanding that quite often, and where we have to be transparent to everybody to explaining what we are doing. Nowadays it's even difficult because if you see this picture you have different opinions if you meet somebody that having this kind of haircut. So it can be, if you're in London or Italy, a style. It can be a victim, or even it can be a soldier due to the haircut. So keep in mind that for every single word what we have in several languages where we are using central language approach, there might be a different meaning for everything, and you have to be very detail-oriented to be successful on search engines. My goal for today is
an event seen from one point of view gives one impression. Seen from another point of view, it gives quite a different impression. But it's only when you get the whole picture you can fully understand what's going on.
So within digital companies, we have the advantage to generate a lot of data where we get a lot of insights and get a common sense what people are into it. And I'm very thankful that in every row we have a couple of people. You need 2 per row or 3 as a team building spirit and introduce each other to answer a couple of questions. So please feel free to introduce each other within your row and try to answer the following question. Which of these countries is not in the global e-commerce top 5? Is it Japan, France, Germany, UK, or China? So just write down, say hello to everybody, to your next buddy, and saying like, I am working in this company, my name is this, and I am thinking that one of those cities is not in the top 5 e-commerce. Question number 2. Which country of those 5 has the highest internet penetration? Is it Russia, France, Germany, Sweden, or UK? The third one, which country has broken into the global top 10 for internet population size over the past year, even higher than UK and France? Mexico, Nigeria, South Korea, Indonesia. How big is the portion of revenue for Twitter for mobile? I think this morning you had a Twitter conversation about it. So maybe they talk about it, I'm not sure. 25%, 50%, 75%, 90%. It's not 2015, it's 2014. And the last one, how big is the percentage of the total queries related to the scope of clothing and shoes at Yandex? So this is related to LUISAVIAROMA, because you are in the fashion sector. So how big you think within all the Russian and CIS states and globally the total queries at our search engine is that is addictive to clothes or shoes? Below 1%, 5%, 10%, 25%. To all your questions or my questions and to all your answers, you will get the answers within the presentation within the next couple of minutes. So let's start. We have 7.2 billion people out there. We have an internet population of 2.8 billion people. So we know there is a search engine out there that says they have 90% of global market share. So I'm quite sure you know the colors and which search engine I'm talking about. For those who are not, because they're using only social networks or the digital natives who are saying we are not using anymore any search engine, it's Google. But think that 618 million online users are from China. So it means every fourth person is a Chinese person who is using the internet. And then ask yourself, Google has no presence, almost no presence in China. So if you have no presence in China, how can you have 90% of the global market share? And it's interesting, the gap will widen. If you take a look at the figures in China, or when we take a look in Europe, Russia, we had 61 million people. Now we are expecting in 2015 to have 90 million Russian who are on the internet, and they are using Yandex. In 2050, we will have 9.7 billion people on our planet from last year. Interesting thing, only 100 million people will be out of the more developed countries like Western Europe, US, and a couple other states. The interesting things for companies who are working globally, 8.4 billion people will be from the less developed countries. The reason is quite simple. In African country, we have a family planning situation of 4.8. And if you take a look at Europe, 1.6. This is due to many economic reasons. One of those reasons is, of course, safety and how people are living with each other. And in Africa, Oceania, and Latin America, for sure, the middle class will get higher again as well, so the population will lower. And for those who answered the question, within top 10, within the internet population in country, Nigeria. Nigeria has a higher internet population than UK and France. Who said Nigeria or thought of Nigeria? Interesting. And those are the constant changes which we have all over the world, which we have to face, how to address our message. And it's very, very difficult to be successful out there And it's very hard. And even if you think you are dead, you should take a look at this.
Such a feeling's coming over me. There is wonder in most everything I see. Not a cloud in the sky, got the sun in my eyes, and I won't be surprised if it's a dream. I'm on the top of the world.
This is the end, beautiful friend. This is the end, my only friend. The end of our elaborate plans.
So I think you can see it from this perspective of how often have you spoken to your friends that Yahoo is dead, nobody is using Yahoo. And you see what's happening, they are growing and growing again, buying companies and are pretty successful. So you have to really take a deep look and understanding what people are doing out there with data, and this is your data. When we take a global look, which search engine you can use outside of the well-known Google, there is Baidu in China, there is Yandex in Russia and CIS states, Seznam in Czech Republic, of course Bing in Europe. Of course Bing has not the portion of market share that it should have, but Bing is strong in the United States, and Naver in Korea is strong as well too. So there are a couple of players that understand the game. And the interesting thing, only those 3 companies which you see has a global index of every single web page out there. So it's Bing, Google, and Yandex, who has a strong algorithm and are understanding which websites are popping up or where people are looking for. The innovation, everybody says like, you have to be in Palo Alto. Yeah, true. There are other internet geeks, fancy companies, but the reason why American companies were so successful over the past decades, in 1996, 66% of all internet users were Americans. In 2014, we had 90% outside of the United States, China, India, Africa, Europe. So the innovation will come more faster than we think from East or Far East and other countries. The most spoken languages in the world is Confucius, Mandarin. We have Spanish. We have Mr. Shakespeare, English, and Leo Tolstoy, Russian. Russian speakers are around about 250, 300 million out there. So Russian is the 4th most spoken language in the world. And due to internet penetration and user, you can see that Russia has an internet penetration which is very, very low, 54%. It's because of the 7 time zones that we have in Russia, a huge landscape. Everybody has a different behavior, what they are shopping, so 54%. So we can have an uplift up to 46% within the next years. And because of that, you can see India, Indonesia, even China, Brazil are very sexy to invest and looking for users, customers, which will be loyal to your brand. This is the answer to one of the questions of the highest internet penetration. Who got Sweden? Is there anybody who said Sweden? Perfect. Now I know you speak English, that's good, so you understand me what I'm saying. That's great. Sweden is not the highest or Sweden does not have the highest internet penetration around Europe. There is 1 or 2 countries which have even more people who are online in terms of the total population. But you see, other countries has a very high uplift. Now my colleagues from Twitter can tell me if it's still true. Who said that the mobile revenue is up to 75% and higher? Have you mentioned this morning? Ah. That's amazing. It's Q1 figures from 2014. It was written public because you're a public company, so no secret figures. 75%, awesome. I took a look in earlier years as I started with the internet, what's going on. And all the countries outside there started with the internet more or less in 1996. And there are 3 bubbles, which I pointed out. Every single slide I will share with you, the presentation, has a source. So you see, in this slide I have a lot of sources, which I have to take a look. The shorter one is on Wikipedia as well. And the 3 bubbles says, in 2001, the gap widened between the developed countries and the less countries. You can see it especially in 2006. But since 2013, 2012, 2014, the gap shrinks again. So probably every 100 inhabitants, more or less in a near couple of decades, will have the same internet access. And what is surprising is, for example, this is our figure 2013. I was looking for the entire year 2014, but to get solid figures, I have to wait another quarter. But in 2013, only 50% of Americans has a smartphone penetration. And even France, Germany, and UK had a higher penetration than the United States. Probably those figures are grown. We are 24 hours online. At work with a desktop PC, maybe laptop. At night, during the day, smartphone and tablets. And this is an economic and social phenomenon in terms of, look at the spendings globally. 9.5 billion British pounds we are spending for global retail. For those who understand how much is spent on online retail, we have a lot of space there. But global tourism spends $1.3 trillion. So people love to shop and to travel. So mix it up. And we heard today a good speech from fashion bloggers. They mix both. They're traveling, they're selling fashion. So more, the 2 areas are connected. Top 5 countries. Who said that within the top 5 countries, France is not included in B2C sales? Great. Probably within the top 10. The good thing is, there was from eMarketer and from Boston Group estimation for 2014, the growth. I think the growth wasn't that big. If China hit 52%, maybe they hit like 49%, but we in Europe, we would be very happy if we could have at least 25% growth rate around our European Union countries. There are different reasons for this success. 100% access to the internet. BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa. Growth in middle class. The biggest country is China for that, up to 47%. And we are buying goods not only in our countries, but globally. And a good example for that is LUISAVIAROMA, for sure. So I saw a couple of the employees here. Take the chance and talk to them, how they are doing this success. What kind of approaches are next? I think sharing knowledge is the thing what brings us as a civilization forward. And to give you some insights about the Russian market, you can see in Russia TV is still strong. But the internet is as well growing, and probably within the next upcoming 5 or 10 years, they will hit the TV stations. Outdoor and magazines cannot follow up with the internet currently. The interesting thing is that Yandex in Russia has the biggest audience which you can get from one player, so even bigger as the top 3 or 4 TV stations. Every coin has two sides, so like this. So you see this one I took the picture in Moscow during the day, so you can see we have like 60.5% market share in search, but there's as well the second side. Within contextual search, we have a market share of 70%. Of all total searches on our platform, which are related to fashion and retailers, it's below 1%. Who thought this? No one? What was more guessing? 5%? 10%? It's 0.6%. But those are related of all the total searches which we have on our websites and services. Within this, the biggest portion, or even up to 75%, people are looking for clothes and shoes. That's amazing. And within Russia, we have an uplift from 2013 to 2014, within the same period of October till September, by 16%, where people are addicted to buy more online instead of going to a store and buying their goods there. The interest distribution, dresses, there's one exception by dresses. The 24% would be higher if we would put wedding dresses in there. So people are looking like crazies for wedding dresses, but wedding dresses are not included in this chart. So if you take a look, 50%, the top 4 verticals, dresses, suits, jackets, coats generated. And if you take a look into accessorying within clothing, so accessories, bags, and hats get almost 75%. That's awesome. And within the other categories, you can concentrate your strategy as well. Those are the top 20 luxury brands. In this particular slide, you can say like Chanel is number 1, Armani number 2, Michael Kors number 3, Calvin Klein number 4, Dolce & Gabbana, and so on. This is one good slide where you can say, okay, we need to book the brand channel in we need to book our keyword in our branding campaign, for example, channel, to get more audience. But the interesting thing is, if you take a deeper look what's going out there, you can see diesel, for example, people are looking more and more for those products by 10%, Prada by 12%. Chanel is a little bit decreasing. So such kind of information helps you and your campaign being more successful than your competitor if you are really, really detail-oriented and successful, data-driven and figures-driven. This is very simple said, like being very detail-oriented, but you have to simplify your choices by search. And today I would like to give you a couple of advices where you can take some deeper look on it, who knows the Google Global Market Finder? Is anybody using this tool? Very simple, just type in Google Global Market Finder. What you can do, you type your keyword, for example, shoes, leather shoes, in the box up there. It will be automatically translated into the countries, which you see below. You can see the search volume for all the countries, how the people are looking for the goods, how much it costs you to book at it, and it's translated you, as I mentioned before, into the right keyword. Pretty interesting and easy tool to get an idea which countries are attractive for your goods or your blog or your website or service. On our side, for Russia, for example, it's called WordStat. So WordStat Yandex, if you look at this, you will get several information about keywords, about regions, how the people are looking, interacting with those, which is a very easy and fancy way to get an idea on which keywords you should concentrate on to get more and more visitors. Besides that, our fantastic team translated the entire website and services into English, so you don't have to speak Russian to use our services. So with Yandex Direct, our platform where you can bid on, and if anybody is interested or would like to have a deeper understanding on that, let's have a chat after my presentation. And the last thing, which I would like to recommend you, is Yandex Metrica. It's a completely free tool. You can analyze your traffic on a website. Then you, of course, says like, yeah, there are a couple of tools out there which are analyzing our website. But within this tool, you also can optimize your conversion rate on your website for free with the tool in it called WebWiser. So it records live all the traffic which you receive on your website, and then you see how your users are behaving within a click path, which you can analyze, change, and make better for the next website. I travel a lot across Europe and Germany, and there are a couple of agencies which I talk to. One of them is using a SEA PPC, let's say, competitive service, where they just look which brands, for example, from Italy or any foreign countries, are advertising in which country. So that means if you're selling shoes, you can take a look which foreign brands are active in which countries. And for example, you see in the United States, there are a couple of competitors, up to 140 from outside the US, who are advertising there. So on the one hand, you can see you have an audience, but on the other hand, you can say, oh, in Mexico, as an Italian company, I don't have any competition. So why not to advertise with a cheaper click price with your goods in Mexico? The other one is Scoodle. Scoodle is an interesting one because if you're selling, let's say, bicycle for 100 euro, and you're starting, let's say, you are the red line, 100 euros, the red line. And then you ask yourself, why people are not buying anymore from my website this bicycle? There is a database which is comparing all the prices exact to this good, which has a unique selling number, and then you can see how much your competitors are charging currently for the same bicycle. Very easy way to find out what is happening to a price, for example, of a bicycle and different other goods. Fantastic, I have the very young population user. As well, I think Twitter will like this. People from companies like Google, for example, Matt Katz, are telling what is going on, for example, in Germany, that they're violating a network who is selling links. So people are afraid about SEO, how much money you have to invest there. You have to know, for example, for Yandex, we are not counting any links anymore within the Moscow region. So no matter what your competitors and how strong your competitors' links are to a website, we are not counting them anymore because we have stronger, different signs which we can see how to rank your website. And this is very interesting. Google is currently violating link buyers and link sellers. One of those points, as I mentioned in the beginning of my presentation, take a look in the East and what is happening as well in the Far East and other countries. And why? We know how hard it is if you're trying something new and then you have people in your company saying it will never work like this. But always try to help others which have maybe the same ideas on their mind as you have, and then try to do a different approach that helps people. And within the last couple of seconds, I would like to give you 5 takeaways when I am working with our colleagues in one team and our teams are share your knowledge. Then you get a lot of friends who helps you to fulfill your goals. Understand the local customer. So I hope I could give you today an overview that there are more options out there which you can use. And as well as colleagues in presentations before, Twitter is a very helpful tool. I use by myself Twitter. I like it when I travel, telling people what I'm currently doing. Sometimes I'm drinking a beer and sharing it with others. And getting information. Understand the local customer. This is always the approach which you have to focus on. Communicate insights with your teams. Be transparent. Set goals transparently, even they are hard to achieve. But in the end, you will be more successful with there. Compare your result constantly to your previous results, then you get better. And last thing, attend such kind of conferences where I'm very thankful that I could speak today at LUISAVIAROMA, Fashion Technology Summit in Firenze, meeting new people, sharing ideas, telling, thinking, listening to others if we can approach success in a different way and call them because they are experts. And there is still hope for all of us. 19% of all kids can use meanwhile a smartphone, tablet, but only 9% can tie shoes. I think help the other kids to tie shoes because they use smartphone anyway, because this is a statistic from 2 years ago. So I'm probably sure more kids can use even today smartphones, but less probably can tie shoes. I'm working on it. Thank you very much for your time.